Park. My first guest will be this man to my left.
What's up, everybody? How are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Very good. We're going to get into a lot of things over the next half hour or so. I think we're going to go a little longer. I got a funny feeling because you've already warned me. Half hour goes pretty quick, doesn't it?
It's like the snap of a finger. It's not even. It's not even funny. Yeah, we always laugh. We work a lot with Kevin Smith,
right?
And they're like, "Oh, we're going to give him an hour for his Q&A." And I'm like, "Good luck with that."
Okay.
The man goes a minimum of 3 hours.
I'm learning this. Okay.
Yeah, so
I've been forewarned in this.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to talk faster and give you short answers, I can.
No, that wouldn't work, I don't think.
No.
Call it a hunch.
No, not at all.
Well, this is sort of my first foray into being in front of the camera, other than my friends from a doing another podcast. And hold on to your shorts, guys. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Hang on to your
led
shorts.
me to here. Yeah.
Hang on to your shorts.
Hang on to your shorts. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell there's a little nerves kicking in right now? Because I'm so used to, I'm a radio guy. And then suddenly you put a camera in front of me, and it's like going, oh my God, what am I doing?
I didn't think you got nervous, dude. So
believe it or not, oh, the first hour before this was launching,
right?
Oh my God.
Oh, were you puking?
No.
Up? That
Did I
awesome.
feel my stomach trying to go, hey, how are you? What's going on? It's normal. I come to that conclusion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do what Kevin Smith does. He smokes weed, like a lot of weed before he does.
I wish I had thought of that ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, then you have to get the weed. It's a whole mess. It's not legal here. I don't know, man. It's okay. Just you're gonna have to roll without the weed.
All right, I'll roll without the weed. But you know what? Just to get my bearings together as a radio guy, I haven't been on the air in a long time, so it's been a while. So if I were on the air, I'd probably be talking about some of the things that are happening in social media. So I want to start there because there's 3 things that caught my attention.
Okay.
First, I'm going to post this viral video, or I should say Ming's about to do that for me. This comes from Rick and Maria Garino. They're out in Freehold, and this suddenly went viral within the last week. As a matter of fact, all the New York news stations picked up on the story.
Yes.
And, well, let's do the video. I'll do some play-by-play as the video is running here.
Here we go.
And this is part of the on this thing. It should go even more viral. It's already had I think about well over 100,000 hits. So it's a nice story going on there.
Wow, that's great.
Right. The other big thing that happened recently, put the photo up, Ming.
Wait, which one? I have 2 photos.
Yeah, put the broom up.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I fell for it.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, it stood. Now, there was this whole thing that was going on about allegedly on the one day of the year that you can put this broom, put it up on, and it's just going to stay there. It would defy gravity. Apparently, you can do this anytime.
Okay.
But again, it was one of those things. I saw it on Facebook. It's a Monday night. I'm bored. There's nothing on TV. Let me see if I can do this.
All right. I was trying to. So the myth was that the planets had aligned in a certain configuration.
Yes.
On only one day in centuries, I guess.
Right. That the gravitational pull will create this phenomenon with a broom.
Right.
And then, of course, I get a friend of mine who decides to take this one step further. Yeah, there's the other photo. This is from the Del Buno boys. They're down in Ocean County, New Jersey.
Del Buno boys?
Yes, the Mike and Danny. Now, their idea was like going, okay, here's our way of defying gravity. And I got to admit, at first I'm like going, this is not impressive at all. They're using the ceiling. They're cheating.
Right.
But again, I got some crazy people that I know, so going through social media, you find some wild stuff.
Oh, is it pressed against the ceiling?
Yes,
there?
Can you see?
So,
yeah, see, I mean, you even thought the same thing for a minute.
No, I thought it was balanced. Like I've seen people do this in real life. They're rodeo clowns,
right,
or in the circus, so it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually went and got a broom. and you balanced it.
I just literally stuck it on the ground, and it stood there, and I was fascinated for about an hour.
And from what I heard, you can do this on any day. The bristles spread out so much in such a way that any broom will balance. And did you go out and buy the broom? Did you go out?
No, I at least owned the broom.
Go to Bed Bath & Beyond.
No, I didn't have to buy it.
Got the 20%
You're making me feel like I have no life here. Okay, thank you.
You weren't alone. It's okay. No shame. No shame. Now, if it was Mike Zapsik that went out and did it,
yes, okay,
I would have laughed
point.
at him. Yeah, he's been known to get sucked in by things like this. I don't know. Are you a Rick and Morty fan at all? Are you familiar with the cartoon?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Rick and Morty.
They did an episode about the Szechuan sauce one time, a couple years ago, and they were trying to bring back. It was a little-known chicken nugget dipping sauce that McDonald's had like 20 years ago. Rick and Morty was trying to bring it back. McDonald's said, "We're going to bring it back since everybody wants it back." And what had happened is they underestimated the volume of people that wanted it. Each store got like 10 packets. And poor Mike went down to McDonald's on the day it was supposed to launch, found out they were all long sold out, threw a fit in the McDonald's, then went home, threw a fit online on Twitter. But what made me laugh was that he was like, "F you McDonald's, where's my Szechuan sauce?" And he tags the creators of Rick and Morty in there, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. And I see this, and I'm like, dude, you think that they're going to see your tweet and come to your defense? They don't care. They're not even getting paid by McDonald's. They're not making a cent off this. So what I did, because it's just this is what I do. I happened to be near a fast food restaurant. I had picked up just a random packet that looked like the Szechuan sauce.
Right.
And I photoshopped the Szechuan sauce front on there, and I took a picture with it. And I'm like, Mike, dumbass, like I got mine. I don't know why did they refuse to give you yours? And I think that made him even madder. So that's this is why we're friends, I guess.
This is the reason
why he hasn't killed me. I'm not really sure. But,
well, I think the connections through all your work previously may have been the reason.
All right, and this is Mike Zapsik from Comic Book Men.
Yes, and this is Ming Chen from Comic Book
and
Men.
also a co-owner of a Shared Universe podcast.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to talk about Shared Universe, but
sure.
Let's go back to the beginnings here, because before even you did Comic Book Men, how did the connection with Kevin Smith come about?
It's a good question, Rob.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've seen the movie Clerks.
Yeah, I'm slightly familiar with it.
Kevin's first movie. I was going to college at that time, and I was working dead-end job at it was a video store / arcade, which was at the Student Union. Mm-hmm. And I took that job. I was like, well, I don't have to work. I'll just play video games all day and rent the occasional movie. But what happened, after I got hired, I found out the boss was never there, and he kept all the video games locked, and he had the only key. So if I wanted to play video games on the clock, I would have to pay for them, thus negating my minimum wage paycheck. So I was like, well, this sucks. So I would just sit there and read magazines all day. And we had a big screen TV that only worked on one station. It was MTV. So I watched a lot of Beavis and Butthead, and and the first season of The Real World, which was because this is 1994. I think.
I can't diss The Real World. I mean, Eric Nees lives in Ocean Township, not far from our studios here in Asbury Park.
Yeah, for sure. But one day, this movie Clerks comes in, and I was supposed to check it into the system, then put it on the shelf so we could make money off of it.
Okay.
But I had heard this movie was funny. Mm-hmm. And since I was in a college town, it had actually come out at the local art house theater a couple months before. I remember seeing the ad in the paper for this movie. And I think someone even was like, man, that's a funny movie. We should go see it. And I found it was in black and white. So I was like, I'm not going to an art house theater.
So you had a preconception in your head because it's black and white. It's at an art house theater.
I thought it was an art movie.
Okay.
I mean, it was at the art house theater. It's in black and white. Like, what more do you need? It was an indie movie, so it's obviously like some kind of French new wave deal. It's called Clerks. So,
Kevin Smith.
Yeah. And to be fair, 1994, you're talking Stargate was out at the same time.
Okay,
Pulp
you got a point.
Fiction was 94. Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. And so I didn't see it in the theater, but once it came in on that tape, I'm like, you know what, I got nothing to do tonight. Instead of checking it into the system, I'm going to take it home and watch it. So I took it back. My brother was there. He had gotten off work, so we popped it in, and we laughed our asses off. And I was like, what? Whoa. What the hell was that? That was awesome. Like, these guys talked like me and my friends talked. Mm-hmm. This guy threw in a whole 10-minute conversation about changing toilets on the Death Star. These two drug dealers outside of a convenience store. And then on top of that, I was like, this guy shot it in New Jersey. My girlfriend at the time who I later married, was also from New Jersey. So, and it was in her hometown.
Of Leonardo, okay.
It was in her area. She grew up in Middletown.
Oh yeah, right next door, sure.
Yeah. So I ended up showing her the movie. She was like, I know that I know that road. I think I know that wacky convenience store. And I was like, can we go one day? She was like, if you want, yeah, I'll take you to the Quick Stop.
Okay, so you experienced the Quick Stop.
Yeah, but I really became obsessed with this movie to the point where I was trying to get all my friends to watch it because I'm a pop culture comic book fan, and what us geeks do is when we find something we really love, we try to get everybody else to watch it. So because we want to talk about the finer points this is all based on like comic book lore. Where if you see, it's like, oh my God, Batman, that Batarang he used in issue 282 in panel 5. Like, did you notice it was made out of, whatever? Like
my head just spun.
Yeah, these are the dumb details that we want to argue about, and so.
But then Clerks became that focus for a while.
Oh, it did, yeah. But no one would watch it because it was in black and white, and everyone thought it was an art movie, and they wanted to see Stargate and Pulp Fiction instead. In order to channel this weird fandom that I wanted to get out, I was learning how to build websites at the time. And this is 1995, 94, 95. So this is pre-Google, pre-Amazon, pre-Facebook, pre-Instagram. There's none of that out there. I think the only search engine out there was Yahoo. And I was learning how to build websites. And I'm going to build a fan website. Get it listed on Yahoo.
Okay, so you're taking this upon yourself. Kevin Smith doesn't know about this at this point. No,
not at all.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you take it to that step. You create it.
Yeah.
Kevin finds out about it, obviously.
He did. So I put it up. There are dudes from like Denver, Colorado, emailing me as I put my email address on the bottom, and they're like, "Hey, man, I love Clerks too. Like, oh yeah, what's your favorite scene?" Like, I would get into like email. Conversations with other fans.
Whole conversation you talk about with the comic books is now gravitating into same way.
People around the world who'd seen Clerks. I was like, this is really cool. I'm finding my audience, my friends, other fans, and then one day the ultimate Clerks fan contacts me. Kevin had someone send me an email going, "Hey, Kevin Smith saw your site. He wants to talk to you. Call him tomorrow at this number." And I was like, "Whoa, this is weird. Is this a hoax?"
You're thinking, this can't be real.
What does he want
no
me?
Chance.
What could he possibly want to talk to me about? Because my first instinct was, all right, I took a bunch of images, I made video clips, audio clips, like all this stuff. I put it all up on my website because I wanted it to be really good. So my first thought was, all right, I violated 1 million copyright laws. I'm Asian, which is what we do. Like, you could tell me to take all this down. Maybe he wants to sue me. I don't know, but then I thought...
I can see where the chain of thought could come into play a little bit.
But I'd read... So I've done my homework on Kevin. Went to Vancouver Film School, dropped out, took 10 credit cards. I'm like, this doesn't really seem like something he would do.
So you're hoping that your Uber fandom at this point is going to... Your spider senses, so to speak, are right on point.
As I thought more about it, I was like, okay, if he wanted me to take all this down, he probably would have called had a lawyer contact me or send a letter or something. It's like, well, let's see what he wants. So I call the next day. The phone picks up. And I hear this voice. It's like, hello? I'm like, hey, is Kevin Smith there? He's not here right now. I'm like, all right, well, my name is Ming. He asked me to call him at this number. Like, can you have him call me back? And he's like, all right, give me your number. Gave him the number, hung up. And I was like, wow, that really sounded like Jay from the Clerks movie. And it was Jay from the Clerks movie. I don't know why he was working the reception desk that day. But he was, and then eventually Kevin did call me back. He's like, hey, I saw your site, love what you did. Can you do more of it? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I want to build, making more movies. I have a production company. I have these stills from the set of Clerks that I can give you that you don't have on your site. I want to expand what you did. And I'm like, he's like, can you help me out? I'm like, yeah,
of course.
Absolutely. He's like, all right. And the next day I get a FedEx box. It's got all this, it's kind of pre-iPhone and sort of pre-digital camera. So they're a little 3x5 black and white stills from Clerks of him like sleeping on the floor, of him behind the camera. It was like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is like Spielberg sending you stills from Jaws that no one's ever seen, or Close Encounters or whatever, or George Lucas sending you stuff from Star Wars that no one ever seen. I eventually built a website for his production company, which encompassed, past films, teasing future films, just all this stuff that he had in the office that I was able to put up for him. And that I was 1996, so I've been working with him ever since.
But how did Comic Book Man come out of all this? I know your passion of it, but when I look back on all this, I am convinced Kevin Smith's probably the only person who could have taken this idea, make it work, and make it last 7 years.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So I mean, real quick, eventually he hired me full time about 4 years after we ended up meeting. He was like, "Hey, you want to work full time?" I'm like, "Yeah, that would be fun."
Yeah.
It's like, "All right, you got to move to Jersey though." I'm like, "Oh man."
Now, where are you living at this point?
I was in LA at this point.
Okay.
And I was kind of between jobs, so I was like, I want to take this job. I'm Jersey, man. I don't know about this. I visited. It seemed like fun.
But it's a different culture shock. I mean, if you're living in LA,
Sure.
but if I've done my homework correctly, you've lived in Michigan.
I did.
You
grew up
lived
there.
a little bit in Indiana.
I've
You were
been
born in
all
Ohio.
over.
Yeah. So you look at it, okay, Midwest, Cali, now Jersey.
Yeah.
There's nothing that prepares you for New Jersey.
No, but I think it was love at first bite of pizza. I was like, okay, I'm
There you
I'm
go.
good. All right, I'm good.
Well said.
I'm good. So that was I moved here in 2002. I've been here ever since, and I love it here.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in a good area, but ended up working full time. I guess so. I expanded on the website empire. I built the first online store, the Jan Soundbob Secret Stash online.
Right.
Built that, and then a couple years later, Kevin got into podcasting, which if you know Kevin, likes to curse. He hates rules. It's a perfect format.
Oh,
for him.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's perfect because he had tried a stint at radio because he had eventually moved out to L.A. One of the stations gave him a 2-hour slot on a Saturday randomly, and he took a stab at that. Decided he didn't really love it because it was too restrictive. He had to read ads. He had to break every 15 minutes. Couldn't say what he wanted to say.
Hey, that's my world.
Yeah.
I know it. I understand
Yeah,
it.
so
if you're not used to the formatics,
Yeah.
and obviously Kevin being a guy who's so used to being in charge, he writes, he directs, he
Yes.
produces, to kind of go from being the guy in charge to suddenly being like, oh, wait a minute, you're dictating to me what I have to do. That's got to be a shock to us, and it's not comfortable for him, obviously.
That's all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, podcasting, where it's a format where there are no rules. You don't have to break for an ad. You produce your own show. You go as short as you want. You go as long as you want. You can curse as much as you want. It was perfect for him. So he started real early, 2007.
I was about to say, he was really ahead of this boom that we're seeing, and I think the boom in podcasting has been, what would you say, the last 3 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, with I think that true crime series Serial.
Yes.
Kind of put it in the limelight. Before that, there was like Ricky Gervais was very popular. Then you got the Rogans and the Adam Carollas of the world and Mark Marons. But I think like something like Serial really got into like all the housewives and normal middle America really got into the mainstream. And he started way earlier than all that, and for him it was immediately successful. One, because he's a great storyteller, so he's perfect for the podcast medium.
Yeah.
Two, he had an audience already who was like, "Whoa, Kevin Smith's doing a podcast,"
And as I'm learning, that's one of the key things. You really do have to have a really good base following, and Kevin has a very good base following.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you can't spend 3 years to build that base following, and you already have it, you're already one.
Hey, 3 years. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. And so the podcast thing really, I think, changed everything here. He's like, well, I love this. Figured out a way to make money doing it, which he's one of the few out there. Which because that's a question we get here all the time. It's like, all right, I've started my podcast. I record weekly. How do I make money? I'm like, well, you can be famous, like jump into it being famous, or just keep grinding at it because it's not easy.
No, it definitely isn't. I know from the radio end, it's a grind.
Yeah.
You're still representing a station, but you're also trying to perfect your craft to try to get to a level where it's like, hey, you know what? Now suddenly you're a name, and that name can make you more money just outside of your own salary.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's sort of the same mentality going on there.
Yeah, but eventually he got us all of us into podcasting,
right?
Because he was starting a network. His podcast is called Smodcast.
Very familiar.
He started the Smodcast podcast network. He's like, I need other shows. I need other voices that aren't just me. So he got me and Mike Zapsik. Again, the co-star and Comic Book Man, co-owner of Shared Universe. Got us to start a pop culture podcast called I Sell Comics. And later on, that led to Comic Book Man, the TV show.
Yeah, that's when.
In 2010, 2011, with the success of the Walking Dead TV show.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of response when you're sitting there just finding out we're going on after The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
We're going on after a audience that's still there.
It was at the time the biggest TV show on the planet.
Yeah.
By far.
I mean, there were episodes that were like 10, 12 million viewers.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we had the advantage where Walking Dead was based on a comic book.
Right.
So AMC wanted to keep that audience going, the comic book, like geek audience going. And they're like, well, what else can we do in the comic book world?
and here it comes.
Yeah, and they didn't really know. They just knew they wanted something in the comic book world. They're like, well, why don't we contact the King Geek himself, Kevin Smith? Mm-hmm. He'll have an idea. So I believe the story went. They called him like, "Hey, we want to do this comic book based TV show. Would you like to be involved? Would you like to create it?" He's like, "No, not really." And they're like, "All right, well, if you were to create it, what would you do?" Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hey, man, you know that show Pawn Stars where they bring a bunch of knickknacks and those old guys in Vegas argue about whether they want to buy or sell it or not." And
and that found a cult following. Absolutely,
divey pawn shop. I would take that, but put it in a comic book shop. And have a bunch of nerds argue over, the first appearance of Wolverine and, G.I. Joe figures and Migos.
And it's funny, that circles back to what you were talking about before, what you were doing just with your friends many years before.
At the comic book shop
Yeah.
or beyond. And they're like, that's a great idea. All right, congratulations, you just created a TV show.
Wow.
And that kind of, so they're like, we want to do this. This is a great idea. That eventually went, they got some money and they're like, all right, we want to shoot a pilot. We got to see if this concept will actually work on screen. It looks good on paper.
Right.
Will it work once we roll cameras? And Kevin was like, all right, this sounds like fun. What's the budget? And I think it was like $10,000 or something, not much at all.
Right.
And he was like, $10,000, is that even going to get us any, like, how much can we, what can we shoot for $10,000? They're like, well, we know that's not a lot, and whatever comic book shop that we find to shoot the pilot in, they're going to take a chunk of it. Most of it. And he was like, well, I have a shop. I won't charge you anything.
There you go.
And they were kind of like, idiot, why didn't you tell us this? Like, when we started this, we would have been, sweating less. So, and he was like, all right, I'll do one better. Instead of, paying actors or whatever, just for the pilot purposes, just use the guys I have working in there. I have a bunch of guys that work for me in there. Just throw them in there.
Right.
If you have to tell them what to say just for the purposes of the pilot, go for it. But they're pretty funny. They might even, they should be able to hold their own in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. So, one day, a bunch of this crew came down. I mean, Kevin had kind of given us a heads up. He was like, hey, we're going to shoot this pilot for this TV show. And I'm very enthusiastic about stuff like this. Like, well, this could be fun. Mm-hmm. Walt Flanagan, who managed the store, he was very apprehensive, didn't really want to do it. But whatever Kevin says goes. So they came down. They shot it. It was a very loose idea, but cut together. The network saw it and they're like, "Wow, this is not only is this really good, but who are these 4 guys that you put in there? They're great." And Kevin was like, "No, you don't want them. They just work there." Like, no, these guys, idiot. These are the guys. Like, how could you not see this beforehand?
Right.
He didn't. He just saw us as. Brian,
it's just the guys in the store. That's it.
He didn't really see us as like necessarily the guys who would be on a TV show. So
and then your life changes from there.
Yeah, but podcasting actually bolstered the idea that the show would work. They actually went and they listened to some of our podcast episodes and they went back to Kevin. And they're like, hey, if these guys can talk on the TV show like they do on the podcast, where they're going back and forth with each other, where they're not talking over each other, where they're making fun of the little Asian guy. This show might work. We might get like 3 or 4 seasons out of this.
Yeah, the last thing you're expecting is 96 episodes over 7 years.
Yeah, so it worked out. It was very unexpected though.
Yeah.
Like I have no aspirations of being on TV.
Yeah, I mean, that raises an interesting question. It changes your life and it changes your focus a little bit. And now suddenly here's a shared universe, which is now celebrating its 2nd anniversary.
Yeah.
And you're now really deep into the podcast world, probably more than you ever thought you were going to be.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And how many podcasts are on the shared universe roster these days?
I think we're almost close to 30 right now. We've
Wow.
launched like 30 shows in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then, it's cool though. We've gotten to the point where there were people rolling through them.
Right.
And they hadn't recorded an episode yet. They're on vacation or they're driving through and they Google Podcast Studio in New Jersey and we come up and they'll come in and record an episode here.
That's great.
On their way to their vacation or on their way back. And that's at the heart of it. That's what we're here for. Right. Like, we have a podcast studio here. Come record. Come check it out. For sure, as well as launching new shows. That's what I really love doing.
And what you're doing tonight. So thank you very much for that.
Course.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. For anybody who wants to know the website for A Shared Universe, please.
It is ashareduniverse.com. We have 2 locations now, one in Eatontown, New Jersey, steps from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. And we have a new location on the Asbury Park Boardwalk, which is where we are right now.
And if I've been reading correctly, who's the baseball player you're connected with that may give you another location?
Oh, that was Hunter Pence.
Yes, who just signed with the Giants, by the way, a couple days ago. Very congratulations to him. He was coming off a great year last year until he got hurt.
Yeah, and from what I read, he was looking for. He's still looking to play, and the two teams that offered him deals were the San Francisco Giants, who we won 2 rings with.
Right, he had a great run with the team.
Or the Houston Astros.
Well, I think he made the right decision. Call it a hunch.
Yeah, and it worked out for him. He owns a home in Houston.
Okay.
And he also has an apartment in San Francisco that he never got rid of. So it all worked out for him, as it always does.
Right.
Like, he's one of the coolest guys I know.
If you do become partners with him, where would you base this location?
San
Francisco or Houston? Houston? Okay.
I love San Francisco, but man, I always joke. I was like, San Francisco, like you're the only guy I know who can even like scrape by in San Francisco, and you're in a Major League Baseball player's salary.
Right.
Because that town is expensive.
Oh, yeah, he's got nothing to worry about. You realize at his peak at one point he was making $19 million a year.
Yes, I'm well aware of his contract terms. Just not every day somebody who knows makes that much.
Yeah,
money,
exactly.
so.
That obscene amount of money.
And not only that, but it's public.
Yeah,
like how much he's making. So
there you go.
Yeah.
This is Ming Chen. I'm Rob Acampora. This is the A Game with Rob Acampora. We're going to talk about the con circuit, but to do that, we got a special guest here. I'd like to. Brian, you want to come on? I figure. Yeah, I think if we're going to talk about cons, I want a guy who has
goes
been
to
doing
cons.
it for so
Holy
damn
crap!
long.
Wow, Brian O'Halloran, everybody. Brian O'Halloran, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing
Clerks
Amy.
too.
He
He needs a beer.
He needs a Asbury Park Sea Dragon.
Yes,
everybody.
I'll crack one open with him on this one.
Yeah, we're.
But
Okay, so
Brian O'Halloran's in the house, man.
What's up, everybody?
Unexpectedly.
hello there, sir.
yeah. So
You never
just
know.
so you know, long-time listener, big-time fan.
Thank you very much, sir.
I've been listening since the very beginning.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're how many minutes in? We are now 27 minutes into this whole thing.
What? I thought you were on year 12.
Wow.
No, you know what it is? It's good to be here. I'm really technically, and no joke, I'm not doing this for the cameras. I'm really not even supposed to be here tonight.
It's true, though.
True. Zing.
Notice I didn't say it. Thank God.
As Scott Schiaffa would be saying right now, zing!
Zing.
But it's good to be here at the Shared Universe here, right on the Asbury Boardwalk. I feel like Mr. Love Daddy himself from Do the Right Thing, where his K-Love station was right on the street there in
Right.
Bed-Stuy. But it's really good to see that the second location is up and running here.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I just want to go back to earlier in the episode
Yes,
that
he was mentioning Clerks. So
he was
you
mentioning Clerks,
Yes.
and Ming has done a lot for the Viewist universe. He was one of the masterminds of the bulletin boards for the fans who were the bulletin board denizens back in the day. I remember those days well. But also, Ming, how did you not hook up a brother when he was looking for his Szechuan sauce to just make it? Like,
Oh, yeah,
dude,
you're
you're
right.
Chinese, bro. Just make the
come on.
Szechuan sauce.
Come
Come on.
I'm not going through that extra effort for, and it wasn't. He would have wanted the official Szechuan sauce with the packaging and everything.
That's Americanized. You would have given him the authentic Szechuan
I know.
sauce.
I just wanted to.
Or
see
is
him-
that only sexy time with your wife?
It is. Yes.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
the
thought.
Ming Chen ancient.
I'm sorry, I took it dark.
Ancient
Chinese secret.
Yes.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I know. Anytime Mike flips out, I just stand back. And
Why do I suddenly want to go to the laundromat and wash in Calgon? I don't know why.
Yeah.
But full disclosure, I've known Rob Acampora since the very beginning, since '94 when we were doing publicity for the original Clerks.
Yeah.
You were one of the DJs at 106.3 WHTG, the alternative radio station here down the shore.
Yes.
Which for many, many years was amazing.
was.
And I
Great time
missed,
of my life.
I miss those days. Great concerts, great guests, great everything. So
Absolutely.
that little shack on the little hill of a farm
We
in the middle of
broadcast
nowhere.
exactly. A little place in Eatontown, New Jersey, out of a house.
Yeah,
God bless Faye Gage.
I
She did
literally
wonderful
think
things.
it's an outhouse for UPS right now because it's right behind behind the big UPS building there in Eatontown. And so what's great about this is that it's great to see you finally getting into the podcasting game, because to be honest with you, you as an interviewer in general have always been awesome. When I hear you on the air from wherever you were, from when you were out in the days in the Lehigh Valley, down doing country music, for God's sakes, which, man, I'm sure you had to just be like, all right, I'm going to have to learn country.
Let me tell you something. Some of it is good. I got into some
No,
of it.
I'm not slamming country. Don't be writing him saying country music's awesome. Look, I'm Irish. We invented country music. Okay? But I mean, you went through the years of being on a country music station, and now here you are doing your podcast, man. It's about time. I mean, you've always been a lot of fun to talk with in general and to hang out with, and
Thank you.
I wish you many, many years of this podcast.
It's an interesting new world. I'm still really learning a lot about it. I mean, I think Ming said it best before. If you have this aspiration that you're going to become a millionaire doing this, you got the wrong aspiration.
Oh, dude, no. Acting, anything in the entertainment business, people, you're not going to make a ton of money. There's rarely do you make money when it comes to entertainment.
25 plus years of radio. Yeah, I know broke. I understand broke.
But if you do something that you love, as they say, you'll never work a day in your life.
I think that's very
if you're enjoying yourself doing what you're doing, which you are,
yes.
and I can hear it. I can hear it in the interviews and stuff like that. I mean, just interviewing Ming alone. I mean, that's great. I mean, it's a good marketing plan on your end to make sure that the owner of the place you're using to podcast to be the first guest. So
I think so
you can get that
yes.
Ming discount for your hourly rate of how to record here.
Exactly.
So I get it, dude. I'm on your side on that.
I appreciate that.
But you know what else is great is that this is such a great location to podcast from. You literally walked here to the studio from where you live here in Jersey.
Yeah.
But also, God, look at the view of the ocean. It's just awesome. It is. I mean, we are recording at night, so we don't really see the ocean. But during the day, trust me, people, it's gorgeous here. So you're going to want to get here until the hot summer days come, and then someone here wants to come in and take this space over for, I don't know, something like homemade jewelry or something, and these guys are out on their ass.
No.
But otherwise,
don't let that happen to us.
No,
please. No,
come.
We like being here.
Yes. So what you want to do is you want to come, you want to record, and when you want to record at the Shared Universe, say you request the Asbury Park location.
Yeah.
Make this place get super busy, and then you can bring friends who could just sit outside on their beach chairs and watch while you guys record. It's awesome.
What I was about to talk about with the
yes. Now do your interview.
No, thank you very much.
now my rant is over. And I know people are like, "How about your podcast, Brian? The Ohala Rant." There's a sample of it right there.
Yeah, that's what you would get on the Ohala Rant, which is coming soon, by the way. So I'm very happy for you on that.
Cheers.
In the Comic-Con universe, you both have become, I think, really mainstays in a sense. Brian, you do what, about 2 a month, roughly?
About.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Right. And Ming, you're kind of on that same page,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much, unexpectedly, but yes.
Yeah, he literally is like on the hotline of phone calls like, "Hey, Ming, we have an open space. Come on down. I'll bring you to this hot yoga place, this coffee shop, and this super secret bar. Are you in?" He's like, "You had me at hot yoga."
Hot yoga.
Yeah, the other stuff is just a bonus. But yeah, I love adventure. I love going to new cities.
Right.
I love going to cities I've been to before and going back to the places I found last time. And if I have friends there as well, like Brian, that makes it even better.
I think it's genetic. I think he has a bit of Genghis Khan in him. He
might.
loved adventure.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
Like his eyes go really wide when he sees elephants.
Really now.
Yeah, so what?
No, but seriously, like whenever if you follow Ming on his Instagram especially, and you see the multitude of photos of where he's at, it's always one of those 5 choices I was rattling off. But also, I told him, I was like, dude, you got to do a travel blog. Like, you really could do like the places you've been.
That's
kind
a
of
really
thing.
good idea.
Because he does, for some reason, everybody comes to him with the secret tip of like, no, where you need to go is if you go down to the 3rd door on the left, knock on the door twice, go downstairs where that plumbing room is. Go through that other door, go through the sewers, and then come up the other end. It's this amazing speakeasy. It's great. Yeah. And you know what the best thing to have there? A Manhattan.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
and he does it. And he's taking these photos. Look at me. I went through And Ming Chen went through a mile of shit to get his Manhattan. You know what I mean? It's like Andy Dufresne. Like,
That's right.
So give me a great example of a city that you've been to that most people would sit there and just go, why would I ever go there?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay, now give me a reason why I should go to Albuquerque,
There
New
are
Mexico.
hidden bars there. There are hidden pool halls there. The food is amazing, especially if you like Southwestern food.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
like, green
absolutely.
chilies, you have to dig. You know, on the outside, it looks like Breaking Bad. With
plus, you get to make that Bugs Bunny joke.
you can't,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
you
right.
do.
I knew I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque.
Exactly.
You do, but yeah, one year I wandered into a private club there that I had no business being at.
Ooh, like Eyes Wide Shut private club.
No, well, yeah, I didn't pull a Harvey Keitel and a Nicole Kidman there.
I thought I was getting an exclusive here.
We could have had video.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, I wasn't supposed to be there. End up becoming a member of this
that's
private
my line.
club, and then the surly bartender who questioned my membership or my reason of being there.
We don't allow Asians in here.
Oh,
I think that's what she was implying. But
Yeah,
we,
pretty much.
we end up becoming best friends. She's a very talented podcaster now. In, in Albuquerque, and we ended up drinking together last time I went.
Her
out
podcast is The People I Don't Let Into the Club.
there. You are shoot, man. We gotta get you on that podcast. We gotta get you on to Albuquerque. This kind is fun. That you would love the city. Podcast is called 10 Drink Minimum.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute, 10 drink. I'm signing up for this one. Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
you
I may not last, but I'll go for
See,
it.
if that was my podcast, it would be called Wednesday.
Yeah. and there literally is a liquor store. You go through the cooler, and there's a secret set of
See what I
stairs
mean?
down there.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
there's a secret bar down there called Founder.
Swear to God,
It's
he's
an
like,
amazing
he's like,
place.
He's like fucking Lohan. What's his name? The kid from Indiana Jones.
Oh, short round.
You're like, he's like short round,
Yeah.
finding the secret thing. Come with me, Dr. Jones. I'll show you where to get the 10 drink minimum.
Yeah,
Speaking
no.
of discoveries, this is a good segue on my book because I mean the one photo he pops up a lot on, and Ming, you have posted this a few times.
Sure.
I've got to ask.
Okay.
What the hell is Fago Sola? Explain Fago.
Okay.
Explain this.
Such a noob.
Fago Soda is a very popular soda brand in the Midwest, mainly in Michigan.
Right.
And I grew up drinking it. They have many flavors, but a lot of them are kind of knockoffs of more popular sodas. So instead of or Mountain Dew, they have Moon Mist. Same
Okay.
color green. Instead of like Dr. Pepper, there's Rock and Rye, or they have their own.
I see
offshoot
you
of-
like the rock and rye a lot. I've noticed that.
but they have their own flavors as well. They have a cotton candy flavor that will make your teeth fall out. It's great.
Lovely.
So growing up, this is just what I drank. It was cheaper than the regular soda in the
Right.
convenience store. This is what I drank. Then years later, the Insane Clown Posse really blew this brand up because that's all they drank. They would spray it on people at their concerts, and all the juggalos got really into like Fago. So Fago blew up after the Insane
Of
Clown
all
Posse.
bands, Insane Clown Posse. I wouldn't
There you
have
go.
thought that.
Okay.
Wow.
But to me, like if you see Fago, like that's Michigan to me. That's what I grew
Okay,
up with.
gotcha.
And that's why I love it so much. But you can't get it here in Jersey.
No.
You can't get it in LA. You can only kind of get it in the Midwest and weird spots in Pennsylvania. And
Right,
some
yeah,
like
like
in
the
South.
Rust Belt.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've noticed he's not brought any back. I'm sitting here kind of going, what? Is it illegal to bring Fago to New Jersey? or
Dude,
something? What?
he leaves it all at his family's house because he has family in Ann
Yeah,
Arbor.
right, yeah.
Exactly,
So literally,
yeah.
whenever you, especially any show that's in that kind of area, he literally on his table has like a mountain of Fago soda from all fans just bringing him 6-packs. Like
So
here
they
you go.
know. They absolutely know now.
I mean, I may beg for it online, but I'm not above that. It's like, hey, if you're going by the gas station, bring me a case, man.
Right.
But I remember I took it all home, piled it on the counter, and my mom gets home and she was like, "Are you okay?" Like she thought I had a problem. She thought I was She really.
Do you have a burning ulcer for drinking all that soda?
She
and
started
all that
yelling at
carbonated-
me. She was like, "What the
Yeah.
hell, dude?" I'm like, she thought I bought it all,
Oh, jeez.
and to convince her because
Cliff, tell me something. Are you diabetic?
Yes. Are you? Yeah.
Because you will be if you drink this entire stash.
It's like, wait, tell me, who'd you learn this from? Tell me. You. I learned it by watching you.
You have just proven that every mother is the same.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but don't tell me you put that on a plane.
No, I didn't. It's in the-
Exactly.
I flew back with whatever I could
A
put
six-pack.
in my check-in
Right.
luggage, and the rest is chilling nicely in the garage right now. at my
All right, there
parents'
you
house.
go.
So
There
I
you
have
go.
a supply when I go home.
Brian, same question. What city kind of surprised you a little bit that you kind of went to and you went, oh, wow, this is a lot,
I don't say like, oh wow, this is kind of like crazy. I mean, there are favorite cities of mine. Chicago is a favorite city of
Oh, yeah.
mine, but I mean that's a major metropolitan city. Raleigh is really a great city.
I've
that-
heard great things about
that
Raleigh, yeah.
but it's a lot of transplants from the Northeast that
More
that
so now
move
than
to.
ever,
Yeah,
yeah.
more so now than ever. And now there's actually people transplanting from Florida up to the Raleigh area.
That's
like they want to
interesting.
get into that happy medium of A, weather and B, just cost of living, because
Right.
the cost of living even in Florida isn't what it used to be. When people are like, I'm going down to retire in Florida. Well, now Florida is getting like kind of weird, and then in the sense of like cost of living, but also not every place you can build in Florida. You got the sinkholes that are eating like half of of the state, and then the other half is Everglades. And so the Carolinas have become this sweet spot to live in the East Coast area anyway.
I think the show that's kind of really put a focus on that has been the last couple seasons of Love It or List It on HGTV, where they've been doing it in Raleigh-Durham, and suddenly you're seeing what you can get for your money.
Yeah.
And it really just goes, whoa, okay.
Right. I mean, and it's people who don't want to have to deal with snow, although this past weekend we had snow down in Raleigh and in the Carolinas in general. So for that to happen, that's a great city. I've always enjoyed myself in Colorado Springs. Is a great city.
Air Force Academy is there.
Air Force Academy is there, so a lot of service members come to the Colorado Springs Comic-Con that I've done a few years of. Other cities. I've done Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island is another great city to go and hang out. That's another great Comic-Con.
I've actually heard they got some great Italian restaurants in that area.
Yeah, and usually it's really funny because that's one of the things when I travel to a new city, and who's ever picking me up from the airport as we're making our way to the airport, to the hotel of the city that I'm doing the convention in, I'll ask, so where am I going to eat?
Sure.
What's the shit in this town where it comes to food? And as soon as someone says, well, there's this great Italian, I'm like, whoa, hold it, stop, hold the train. Okay, you're talking about a New Yorker, New Jerseyite who you say Italian. No, it's not.
We've been spoiled.
Unless we're going on a plane and going to Tuscany or going to Sicily. We're not going to find great Italian in Indianapolis. I'm sorry. So I usually move on from there because I'm like, in New York it's great. Like the meatballs in restaurants in the New York metropolitan area, you literally have actual mobster in the meatballs. There's no different taste than actual mobster in the meatball. You can taste Vinny in it. Like when they say we got some great pizza. There's this place, Pizza Hut. I'm like, shut the hell up. There's no Pizza Hut pizza that's really good. Not that like if they want to sponsor the show, I'm not trying to insult the future
please
sponsor.
Bring your money, bring your pizza.
Yeah,
I have
he
no
loves
shame.
it, and he loves chicken wings too. I know you guys do chicken wings or Wingstop
like I said,
whatever it is.
no shame.
Pizza Hut's not calling shared universe. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You can try.
I'm looking for sponsorship. I'm looking for sponsors here.
He's a new kid in the game. He's trying to get sponsors.
Hello. We've mentioned FedEx 3 times today.
Yeah. He looked about the time. They get their shit done, and they fold your flag for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Bravo.
I usually like to find whatever the shit is for that town.
Right.
Like where, just like Ming does. Like where am I going to go to get a neat, martini or whatever. That kind of thing. So, and he'll tell you too. It's that makes it for us. We're big fans. Like we're fortunate enough that people want to meet us for the work that we've done.
Right, exactly.
But we're also fortunate enough to be able to go to these cons to meet other people, other celebs as well, and to hang out and have drinks and go to dinner and whatnot. And so, but the other thing too, to entertain us is we love to go to great bars and restaurants and stuff like that. Louisville, Kentucky, another great town to have a lot of food. Nashville is a nonstop, which I've convinced myself that Nashville is the bachelorette capital of the United States.
It's official now,
dude.
Really?
It's official. Yeah.
All those 10-person pedal bike rolling bars.
Right.
It's a big thing down in Nashville. If you've been down to Nashville, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been down to Nashville, ladies,
I think this
is
podcast
where
is
you
going
and
to
Susan,
Nashville, don't you? Yes.
Any of the ladies want to take their girls out for a ladies' night. Nashville, like every one of them was all these women, and they're all pedaling like crazy while drinking shots and stuff like that. And I was overwhelmed at how crazy it was. Austin, another great town.
South by Southwest Festival is still one of the
completely, and
things.
it is the only blue spot of the entire state of Texas. So great restaurants there, great barbecue, fantastic places to hear music. Obviously,
absolutely.
Not only just the film festival, but even when the film festival is not around and the music fest not going on. That's another city I really enjoyed. And then internationally, I loved Australia and New Zealand. Auckland was just to die for,
and that was just a great surprise when you get involved in this Comic-Con universe and suddenly you're going to the land down under.
Yeah. Which at the same time, the fans really enjoyed the Kevin Smith films.
Right.
Europe enjoys us, especially the UK are a huge fan base to Kevin's film. I don't see them pick up as Asia at all. Like either into Japan, or China, or India. I guess because to Indians especially, it's just like that's just a documentary to us. As a matter of fact, that's the video. Clerks is just an HR video of what not to do in a convenience store. So. I know you're going to send him emails. Don't send me emails.
They're going to me.
A game.
Hello,
with Rob
how are
Acampora.
you? Thank you very much. Brian's going to be in Richmond next weekend, and if they want to
GalaxyCon,
GalaxyCon, if they want to follow where you're going, because I mean you've got many coming up. Where can they find all that information?
Well, the new thing now is Jeff Anderson. This is his first year ever joining.
I'm glad you bring that up because this is sort of a continuation of the 25th anniversary celebration of Clerks,
Right.
and now that Jeff's on board, it just makes it even sweeter.
Yeah, this past October 19th was the 25th anniversary of the release of Clerks in theaters. And for a year and a half, Maggie Blaine, who's our sub-rep from ZSC Entertainment, ZSCentertainment.com, for booking a lot of the View Askew people like myself, Jay Muse, now Jeff Anderson, Marilyn Gigliotti, Scott Schiaffo, Ernie O'Donnell, all the guys from Book Men. You got Mike, Ming, Walt.
We're on there. Brian on occasion.
Exactly.
Right.
Brian when he feels like it. Johnson, by the way. So they're all under the ZSC umbrella. But Maggie Blaine worked a year and a half to get Jeff to come on board.
Wow.
So our first one was just 2 weeks ago out in Sterling Heights, Michigan, which is just north of Detroit, at Astronomicon 3. Huge reception. Both me and Ming were also there as well. And
Now,
Ming
did
can
you
testify to
I was about to
this.
say, did you host a panel with Brian and Jeff?
They did.
I did, yeah. They were like, would you like to moderate the Clerks panel? I'm like, man, if you didn't ask me, I would have been very offended.
Thank you. Yeah.
I would have been very offended. So it was cool. I got to introduce them.
Yeah.
I got to stand up there as I answered questions. And, if you would have asked me back in 95 when I saw the movie, popping in a...
then you'd be at this point here in 2020 going, what?
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy that 25 years later, I'd be up on a stage with...
But also at the same time, it was such a great panel. I was like, we should have him as our moderator. Just travel with us as our moderator.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's not a hard job. But,
well, no, but you know the history of it, too.
do.
So trust me,
for
we've
sure.
been to a lot of cons where they bring a moderator in and they're asking incredibly basic, like literally basic questions. And it's just like, we're going
let's
to
keep
wait.
it fun.
We only have 45 minutes to do this. Do we really want to waste it on basic questions? Note to any moderators out there.
That would be me.
But the other thing too is, so this coming weekend in Richmond, Virginia is GalaxyCon. So GalaxyCon.com
Right.
/Richmond. We got